Hello. In today's video, I'm going to compare the results of two pH tests that I did. One test used a metal probe and the other used the Manutech kit. Soil pH test measures how acidic or alkaline the soil is, and the pH is important because some plants need the soil pH to be within a specific range so that the plant can access certain nutrients. I found this chart online and it shows the nutrients that are available when the pH is of a certain range. Most of the plants that I like to grow like a pH sort of neutral, around about 6 to 7. When I moved into my home, almost 3 years it's been now, I tested the pH of the soil in a few locations and it ranged between 6 and 7, so I was really quite happy with the results. Now it's been almost 3 years here. I thought it might be time to test the soil again. And it was very alkaline in most spots, which got me a bit worried. So John, bless him, has let me borrow his metal pH probe, and this is it here. So both of those metal rings need to be below the soil level when testing for the pH, and the soil needs to be moist. So as we're in a La Nina, we've got very moist soil, so it was a great time to go testing it. You can see it's on 7, it's balanced on 7 before the test starts. And that Manutech kit is the one that I've been using. So this just shows the process of how I go about using the Manutech kit. I put a little bit of soil on the plastic sheet that comes with the kit. Then I put the indicator dye on, and then I put a bit of white powder on. With my soil at home, I don't actually use chemicals or pesticides or herbicides, but I do add a lot of organic matter and use a lot of worm tea. And I have read that the Manutech or home kits don't measure very accurately if you add a lot of organic matter to the soil. So that may be the problem that I'm having. As you see, that's a bit alkaline. This first picture here just shows normal soil in my garden. The metal probe has a 6.5 reading and the Manutech was more like 8.5. This is in the compost volunteer bed. Again, 8 for the Manutech and 6.5 for the metal probe. This is where my celeriac plant is, 8 for the Manutech, and I think it's about 6 for the metal probe. Oh dear. Sorry, John, your metal probe got composted. This compost is about 2 months old. It's about 6.5 the reading was, and look at what it is on my Manutech. About, who knows what it is, 9.5, 10. In here I'm testing the pH of the worm farm. The Manutech kit looks like about 7.5, but the metal probe measures at around about 6.6, I think it might be. Again, a bit of a variance. This is one of the blueberry bushes, and the Manutech puts it at about 5, and the metal probe isn't far from 5, so that's not so bad, I guess. And blueberries like an acidic environment, so I'm happy with 5. This is my second blueberry plant. The Manutech puts it at about 4. Metal probe whacks it down to 3. So this might be my confession time as to what I did to the poor little blueberry plant. When it was measuring an alkaline pH with my Manutech, I got concerned and I gave it some sulphur. I think that the sulphur's maybe worked too good. So learn from my mistakes and don't go putting sulphur on your plants just because your home test kit says it's alkaline. Fortunately, the plant does look okay. Maybe not the healthiest looking plant, but it doesn't look too bad. So then I went outside my yard to test the kits, and I went to a local park. And as you see here, the Manutech shows the local park's pH, soil pH, to be about 6.5, and the metal probe agrees with that. So then on to more tests. I decided to see if I added more water to the soil, whether that changed the pH according to the probe. I didn't use my Manutech kit for any of this further testing. I just used the probe. I'll need to give it back to John soon, so I thought a bit more testing might be in order. So this is just the normal Veggie Garden near the Yacons. It would have quite a bit of organic matter in the soil and a bit of clay, as you see. So the pH of the soil with no additional water was around about 6.6, and I just let it settle for about a minute to stabilise. Then I added a bit of tap water just to moisten it, noting that most instructions online say to use distilled water, and I added tap water just to see what would happen. Again, I left the probe in for about a minute to let it stabilise. It seemed to go a little bit lower, just a little bit lower than the 6.6. Then I decided to add quite a bit more water, tap water. That pH seemed to be even lower than 6.5 maybe. And this is straight tap water. That's lower still, about 6.3 I think that was. And this is using tank water, so closer to the distilled water. And that seemed to be about 6.8 or more for the pH. I found that really interesting that the water is going to affect the pH of the soil. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed those tests. Thanks, John, for lending the soil tester to me. I'm relieved to know that my soil's not alkaline like the Manutech kit indicated, and there doesn't seem to be any point in me using the Manutech kit in my yard anymore, because it doesn't appear to give accurate results if you add a lot of organic matter to the soil, and I intend to continue adding organic matter to the soil. I am intrigued, however, about the blueberry bush and the acidity level of the soil that it's in, and I intend to do a little bit more experimenting around blueberry bushes and what sort of soil or soilless mixture that blueberries are grown in. Thank you for watching.